Lyle Bingham had two granddaughters, two teenage granddaughters, who I showed them a book of puzzles called Ken Ken, a number puzzles, which is Sudoku on steroids. And I still do them sometimes. And one of them had a prize goldfish that she fed up to a certain size. It'd be the biggest in the class, I guess. She brought it over to let it loose in the pond that we had, or the fountain that we had in the front yard. And we had one in the backyard too. Well, it was pump stream that would go over the rocks. So, And John had a great-grandchild who lived on the same street as us. He was an infant, but his grandkids came over sometimes with the kid. I think I only saw him once. And Richard Sargent had his niece was our landlord who ran the house. And she had several grandkids who I met when I played chess with. He only played once, so I wanted to play him again, and I didn't want to give him hints on the first game because I didn't want to get my butt kicked by a 9-year-old. At least not in the first game. I would have showed him where I told him, explained the moves ahead of time for a second game, but he didn't want to play. So he was too intimidated, I guess. But, so she called him Uncle. I called him Uncle once, but he gave me a dirty look, so I just called him Richard. And he was a garbage man. So the only one who had worked at Hanford was Lyle. Squirrel. And his cousins lived in, well, I think it's the same cousins, but they lived in Alaska, and they flew them up there. And I think they also lived in Hawaii, because they flew him over there. And he's in his 80s. And he went by himself. Well, close to 80s. I mean, I don't know exactly how old he was. But during his funeral is when I moved out. Because the driveway happened to be clear. So I said, well, it'd be a good time to... I mean, I didn't plan it that way. It just happened to be that way. Lyle was in the hospital, and someone called for him from his room, and I put him on the phone for him, and I said, hey, I know you can't talk. He couldn't talk very well when he was healthy. I said, make sure you're not late for your naps or throw off your whole schedule.